Hello and welcome. Keep your hand in your skirt. My name is Sabrina Brightstar. I am your host, Keep Your Hand in Your Skirt podcast, Mediumship. Today's topic is about mediumship. If you're looking for a medium, I've got some stuff to share with you. Have you ever had a reading from a medium? Do you believe in mediums? Today's topic, mediums. I personally believe in mediums. However, I have never had the inspired idea or desire to have a reading with a medium. I am a multidimensional being. I do know some people who have passed. I have been able to communicate, as well as it's just not something I long to do. So when a mediumship story showed up for me and sent me high flying, it sent me it was so amazing. So I just have to take this time to share with you my mediumship story, as well as to give you, sometimes people are looking for referrals, they're looking for hits. So I definitely can recommend this medium. So the crazy story, it was an accidental experience. I bebopped to 3 different spiritual centers or organizations in my area. And usually I look to see what the sermon is, and that's how I make my choice. Well, recently I haven't been inspired to go to any spiritual services or gatherings, so I've had a couple months just to myself. Well, the other day I was inspired to go, and I thought I was going to go to one, and then the night before I got this email, and it was a mediumship from Christina Rawls. I think that's how you pronounce her name. And it was about, she was going to tell stories, like dead people stories. And I know that sounds sad, but it just instantly, my body's like, yes, go to that one, go to that one, go to that place. And so I did. The morning came, I went to that place, and I don't know why, but I don't know, it just felt so good. So the service starts, and it was at a I go to Unitarian Universalist, but this one was at a Unity church. And so, organization, I don't know if they say church. So I was at a Unity church, and this Christina spent the time during the service sharing her experiences communicating with dead people. And to be honest, many of the stories, they're sad, they're heartbreaking. And because I'm comfortable with emotions, I just sat and cried, right? Many people just sat, it was a small group, but many people just cried, right? It was this deep sadness inside of me. And simultaneously, as I was just hearing the stories and letting my emotions just express themselves, I could also sense on a different level or layer, there was a type of healing happening for me. So during her workshop or during the service, I find out after the service, she is going to have a workshop. And if you join the workshop, you get a complimentary mini reading. And my body was like, yes, we're going. And so I'm like, oh, I guess I'm going. So when the service is over, I made arrangements because I had some other plans. So I changed my plans. So I went to the service. And I thought to myself, well, what am I going to talk about? What do I want to talk about? Who do I want to talk to? Because you get to call who you want to talk to come forward. And you get to talk about what you want to talk about. Or that's an option. She won't guarantee that you'll get an answer, but that's an option. And then what happens is you write your person on a piece of paper, and then your name is on the paper. So you're sitting in a circle in a group setting, and she doesn't know whose name is going to be called. So she has an assistant who is not, because her eyes are closed, she doesn't see what's going on. And the assistant just randomly pulls out a name, and then that person gets the reading. That's the order of it. And so the reading before me was it was a sad reading, right? It was oh, my heart, right? It was of parents who lost a child. And you could tell, because this medium, she does what she calls, what was the word she used? Physical proof or something, physical evidence or something. So she describes the person to you because she wants you to have proof that she really is communicating, connecting, channeling to your whomever you've called forward. And so you could, like, it was so emotional, this couple before me. And then the next random name that gets pulled out of the hat, right, it was my name. And so I had decided, I thought, like, well, who do I want to talk to? And I had decided I wanted to talk to my daughter's cat, Norman. And Norman, the funny backstory about Norman is, I don't know, however long ago it was, 10 plus years ago, my mom decides to get me a cat. I had said, like, I had mice in my house, and I'm afraid of mice. And so I'd been making comments, I need to get a cat. So my mom takes it upon herself, and she goes and gets me a purebred Siamese cat. And I'm so excited because I love cats. I love, love, love cats. So I get this cat, and I'm so excited to bond with the cat, but the cat has nothing to do with me, and the cat totally bonds with my daughter. And the bond that this cat has with my daughter is a type of connection I have never seen in my whole life. To the point when I started to read the Akashic Records, I even went in and talked to the cat and was like, what is going on with you and my daughter? I have never seen anything like it. And the cat told me, like, they are family. They've been together forever. And he is her familiar. He is her person. He is here to protect her. And I'm like, wow, that was fascinating, right? Well, she calls her cat Norman Reginald is his whole name. Well, Norman Reginald passed about 5 years ago, and it was like devastating for my daughter. So this spring, I have a dream. Norman comes to me in the dream, and he says, tell Mariah I'm coming back. And I knew the frequency of Norman was coming back, but I didn't know. It didn't feel like it was going to come back in the form of a cat, but I didn't know. I kind of had a weird feeling like maybe it's going to come in a form of a child, right? But I didn't say anything, and my family knows I'm weird. So all I do the next day, I pass on Norman's message. I send my daughter a text and said, Norman visited me last night. He wants you to know his frequency is returning. Unbeknownst to me, my daughter was pregnant. And my daughter then tells her husband, I just got a text from my mom, and it's her sneaky way of telling me I'm psychic and I know you're pregnant, which I didn't know she was pregnant. I was wondering, but I assumed it would be later in the future, but I didn't know. So it turns out Mariah is pregnant, right? And so I thought, like, oh, that would be fun. So even though Norman's like gone, but he's not gone, if he's like his frequency is soul, his essence is spirit, and I believe we're fractals, right? Like I believe we're all things at all times. So I believe there can be an aspect of Norman's personality, consciousness that can be inside my daughter's womb. It's a possibility. I don't know. So I thought, hey, that's what I'll ask about. And then I was thinking about my mom too, because and I was thinking, wow, I never had asked my mom to get the cat. And then my mom died 3 years ago, and I've communicated with my mom before. My mom used to be a very type A personality, OCD. Organized. Nobody organizes like my mom. My mom is so efficient, so spectacular in her organizational abilities and her skill set and her strategies. Like my mom is a master at so many things. Well, she got dementia, and when she got dementia, her frequency changed, and she lost her filter, because she used to be a woman who was very proper, very submissive. What my dad said, she supported. She told all of us children to take care of your dad, don't upset your dad, don't bother we were all trained and conditioned that my dad was the most important person in the house, and we had to make sure we didn't upset him or do anything that would cause him to get dysregulated. So that used to be my mom. But when she got dementia, like, she lost all of her properness and her who she used, and she like turned into me, which was really funny because I have a big family and I'm the only person in my family who's just, I'm loosey-goosey, I'm carefree, I don't like control, I don't want to manage anyone, I'm not a microman, I'm not a type A, I can go to sleep if I have dirty dishes in my sink. I'm the only one in my family who can do that. So it was really fun that before she died that her personality changed. And so I wrote Norman's name and then I wrote my mom's name. So, okay, so now back to the reading. I had to give you, I've got to give you some more backstory as the reading goes, and it's going to be about the RV. For those of you who are into the RV or wonder about the quantum financial reset, there's information that came through the reading about that. Okay, I get so excited. Okay, so she says my name and she describes my mom. Now, I do not know this Christina. I do not know her. I'm going to put her link in the show notes. So if you want a reading, I can recommend her with my whole self. I will put her link or her name in the show notes for you. Okay, so she describes my mom perfectly, right? And then it was fun and I was just laughing. She was saying like things and I remember exactly, and it wasn't recorded. We were in a group setting, but I just remember it was super, super fun. It was super like happy. And then she said something like something your mom's with or something. And it just like tugged at my heart. Right. And I got emotional and you're like, oh, right. And like it got teary and got emotional. Well, then she says that my mom is telling me to stop your crying. Like she doesn't want, she's here about the joy and the fun and she's playful and she doesn't want me crying. Backstory, which this medium doesn't, again, know, because she has no idea who I am. But I was raised where my mom always said, stop your crying or I'll give you something to cry about. Now, as a parent, I can see that's pretty abusive. That's cruel. Emotions aren't wrong or bad. But my mom was from the generation that you didn't have emotions or you didn't share your emotions. So whenever we express something other than happiness, my mom would say, stop your crying or I'll give you something to cry about. So the fact that in this reading, my mom is like still saying, stop your crying, right? Like only I would have like picked up on, yep, that's my mom. And of course, I believe as we all transition, right? We are spirit. So I know that I know the spirit, the soul of my mother, like she is everything. But did she intentionally show up in a way that I would know without a shadow of a doubt that it was her personality self coming through? And the answer is abso-fucking-lutely yes. All of the things that came through, it was undeniable. It was undeniable. And this medium had no way. She doesn't know me. She doesn't know these stories, right? So we were talking, and then she said, your father's not here. Is he still on the earth? And I'm like, no, my dad transitioned a few months ago. And she's like, well, he's not here. Would you like your mother? Would you like myself to go get him? Something like that. I don't remember exactly. And I thought, no, this is fun. Like that it's not about my dad. I would it was about my mom. And then she said, oh, your mom's talking about your father. And then she said, hot air balloon. Do you know anything about a hot air balloon? And I'm like, no. And she's like, well, your mom just keeps saying hot air balloon, hot air balloon. And the medium is like, have you ridden in a hot air balloon? And I'm like, no. And she goes, well, then maybe it's symbolic. Is anything full of air? Is anything full of hot air? And I lost it. So what the medium doesn't know, when my mom got dementia and she lost her filter, she stopped being the perfect submissive wife and she started telling my dad what she really thought. She told anybody what she really thought. And one of her favorite things to say is, you're a bullshitter. You're a bullshitter. Nah, you're a bullshitter. You're full of shit. You're full of hot air. So I am laughing so hard, right? Like, because it was funny and it just diffused, right? It diffused the sadness of the dementia when my mom just did these things that our mom never would have done. It was so funny. So I'm laughing so hard. And then she says, well, your mom wants you to know she knows what happened at the hospital. And again, this medium doesn't know anything about what happened at the hospital. So when my mom went to the hospital, unfortunately, well, it's a long story. Unfortunately, my mom went to the hospital, and apparently my dad was like exhausted, right? Taking care of somebody with dementia is exhausting emotionally. She didn't get as much help as she probably deserved. And like my dad was exhausted. So when she finally went to the hospital, he apparently shared with my siblings that he's exhausted and he's done. So he was basically like, it's up to you kids, you guys handle her from now on. He checked out, or that's what he said he was going to do. And he wasn't going to like go to the hospital and see her. He wasn't going to help with the nursing home that she had to transition into. He just said he's exhausted and he's done. Well, as a child, that really made me angry, right? Like, that's my mom. You're still married. Like, you're still married to her. Like, don't go start dating. Like, my mom is still alive. So I was just all mad about all sorts of stuff. So I went, and I have access to my parents' credit cards and money. So I took my parents' credit card. I went to the florist, and I bought my mom the biggest, most expensive bouquet I could find. In fact, it was so big, I could barely lift it to get it into the hospital. And I wrote, because I knew how to sign my dad's name, I know how to pretend that it was from him. So I wrote a message to my mom to indicate that it was from my dad. And the bouquet was so big, everyone who walked into her hospital room would be like, oh, wow, look at those flowers. Where did you get those? And my mom, so in love with my dad, would say, oh, that's Tom. That's my husband. My husband just spoils me. My husband loves me to have the best of everything. And she just sat and bragged about these flowers. And with her dementia, she probably didn't know. I think he went one time to see her, but anyway, like, it was just like in my anger and in my rebellion. So for her to say, like, your mom knows what happened at the hospital. And I'm like, wow, like, that was like, again, she never would have, like, people didn't know that story, right? So, like, shocking. Okay, so then you can ask, this medium lets you ask questions, and you can ask verbally out loud, or you can ask telepathically. So I had been thinking, I don't know if you've heard about the RV, the financial reset. Some people believe. I'm open-minded. I'm not sure what is going to happen, but I believe in possibilities, magic, and miracles. So I am very open to the possibility that this quantum reset can take place. I kind of believe, like, most stories are a truth with a lie attached to it. There's something really true about it, and there might be some missing pieces that have not been yet revealed. But I am definitely a believer that this RV, this financial reset can happen. And I've invested in the different things that you can invest in to be a part of this quantum financial reset, to be a steward of financial wealth, to be a contribution to the community, to equalize. The financial reset is just, some people have this much and the majority of the world has this much, and the reset is just going to stabilize it or balance it so the economy, the worldwide economy, is more balanced, more whole. And some people will be a part of promoting that or being innovators with that. So that's something I'm interested in. So I decided to telepathically ask my mom, like, is she a part of that? Is she supporting me in that? Like, what does she know about? Like, so what's going on with the RV, right? Are you a part of it? So, okay, earlier that day, on another strange side note, I was listening to a podcast from Rion. He's a starseed that lives in Sedona, and he's Unite the Collective. Collective Unite. Well, anyway, he's a starseed that has a very popular YouTube channel. It's on the tip of my tongue. And he was talking about the RV, which I've heard before, no big deal. And he made the comment again, like, diversify, get yourself, and he was talking about the different ways to diversify, and he talked about silver and gold. Well, a couple of years ago, I invested in some silver and gold. So I already have it, but I got the ping, I got the hit, like, go get more silver. So I'm going to look at more silver, and silver, if you look it up, is way less, it's way more financially easy to resource than the gold. But my body just kept going to the gold. And I'm like trying to put silver in the cart, and it was like, nope, get the gold. So for the first time ever, I invested a big amount of money in gold, right? Like, and it shocked me that I did it. It was not like I would invest a little, but I invested like quite a bit of money in gold that morning before the service and, before this medium workshop. Okay, so I telepathically, the lady doesn't know what I've asked. Again, she doesn't know me. I telepathically ask my mom, like, about the financial reset. Is she a part of it? Like, is it real? And the lady says, your mom's not talking, but she's showing me an image, and she's pointing to her ear. And she's like, so maybe it's about listening, but she's pointing to her ear, and then she's showing a huge gold earring. So she's pointing to her ear, and she's showing a huge gold earring. And I just got goosies, right? I got those truth bumps. Like, I don't buy gold, right? Like, and so I'm asking, and I'm buying the gold because of the financial reset. And then I'm asking my mom the question, like, is the financial, like, is this happening? Are you a part of it? Are you like supporting me in this? And like this gold earring. And I'm like, So it was like so exciting. And the other part of the message was that she was saying, oh, your mom loves shopping. And I was like thinking, well, my mom loves shopping for dishes, and she loves shopping for jewelry. But besides that, she wasn't really a shopper, and her and I never went shopping together. But she was, the medium was telling me, your mom she's adamant about go shopping. So I'm like, oh, this is like the theme, like, right, is throughout the whole thing. And there were just so many things, these things that I've shared, and even more things that I won't share, because like there was just so much. But I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, my mom's frequency was present. And even most people, when the reading is over, they thank them and they leave. My mom loves a party. And she even said, oh, your mom is clear. She's staying the whole time. She's not leaving. And that is exactly my mom to a T. There's no way, if there's a fun party, my mom's staying, right? She's not leaving. No, thank you, right? So it was super fun. So if you have somebody that you're sad about or happy about, if you are looking for a referral for a medium, I can share this Christina Rawls. I'll put her link in the show notes. I can share that this medium, it was undeniable. What showed up for me, it was undeniable. And it just really raised my frequency. It made me so high. So even though I have the ability to communicate like on my own, something about somebody else sharing it with you, the frequency of maybe the medium, maybe the frequency of my mom, maybe the combination of all of us that were in the room. I am not sure what the hell happened, but it had me so happy, so delighted. It just raised my vibe. It was such a phenomenal, blissed out, feel good experience. So I really wanted to share that with you today. Thanks for listening.